All right, guys. So I like to do a replay of one of the trades that I took on Friday, January 24th, as some sort of a learning during the weekends and see what we can actually learn from trading in the, in the off, when the market is not open. So this is the watch list that we had for January 24th. So again, the trade idea scanners, you can go and you can actually go to the historical date on January 24th by 9:15 a.m. in the morning. So we had this watch list, and you can go through the watch list, each of them one by one, and see which one do you like. But the trade that I want to talk about that a lot of people took is Intel Corporation. So Intel popped up 5% in by that time, very heavy volume in the pre-market. And the average through range is about $1. Not a lot of short floats, and of course there's a lot of things that here you can actually take the trade on based on that, but this is one I want to focus on, that on Intel Corporation. So what we do here is we just go into the Intel. So we'll just take a look at the daily chart on so Intel Corporation. So on a daily chart, we would just want to focus and see what we have. So this is the day that we want to trade. So if we want to come back one day, so it says this is on January 24th. The stock is already popping up a couple of times, and we know we have all-time high. So at around 60.85, that's a level that we broke. And when we look at it on a daily chart, it's really an all-time high. You can go into the weekly chart as well. So stock is an all-time high. So it seems like a good candidate for us to trade it. And again, this is the day that we want to trade, but we don't want to look into this trade. So this is not the trade that we want to look. So by the time that you're looking, this is January 23rd, and then now we want to go with what happened. So again, this stats replay feature that they put for us. So the only thing that you should do is you go into the file data stream mode. You click on that, and then this windows will come. You have to change it to the replay. And then you click apply, and then as your computer is going to blow up, you say okay, and then you go into any ticker that you want. So for example, we want INTC for what date we want. So we are in 25th. There's usually one day you have to wait, so if 24th is available, and you can click download, and you already download that. So just no title bar, make it a little bit smaller. So now you already have that. So now we want to play that Intel Corporation. So what we can do is we can actually play. Now we have we started playing it. It usually starts from early in the morning, so that's why at the beginning you don't see a lot of activity, because it starts from, look at the time is actually 4 o'clock in the morning, so there's not a lot of activity. So if you want to get some activity, you just have to go a little bit faster until you get toward the time when the market is getting some activity in there. So now, as you see, by 5 o'clock, the more and more volume is coming in. So here's what we want to do. So we want to wait for the start. Again, for me personally, again, depending really on your strategy. For me, opening range breakouts are the first trade. Oh, okay, now I gotta come back. Oh, no, don't go too fast. All right, so opening range breakouts are the strategy that I'm looking at, and I usually wait for first minute and see how the candlestick is actually doing in the first minute. So okay, I'm just reducing the speed now. So we have 5 minutes to the open, so I'm actually reducing the speed. So here's what I see. Stock is an all-time high. Again, these are my observation. Stock is an all-time high. We do have this level in the pre-market that is somehow holding around 67.25. The blue line is the VWAP. On a daily chart, what we have here, just an all-time high. There is really no other territory that you want to look into that. So I mean, this is the daily chart that we have, and so time slowly goes up. So now I have to plan my trade. For me, what I notice here, in the pre-market, if I want to realize, so there is 66.23. This is the low of the pre-market that I see, and for the high of pre-market, if I want to go back a little bit, let's see what we have in the so that's the high of pre-market. Somehow I don't know, it's tough to see, but it looks like the high of pre-market. There's also a level 66.88 level. So again, don't look at the daily chart, so because this is already what we know. We don't want to look into that. But now what we see here is actually essentially is this one. So we want to actually see it could be either opening range breakdown for the break of this pre-market level, or it can just be an opening range break up for the move higher. So again, few minutes we have to the open. You have to slowly set up your planning, the number of shares that you want to have, so based on right now, I see stock is strong, gapped up 5%, heavy volume, 2.1 million shares volume. So we're gonna watch it and see how it actually trades. A lot of people have this. A lot of people have this bias toward trading before the market opens. I don't. So what I want to know is I want to see, because sometimes the strong stocks at the open, they can just keep selling off and they go down forever, or sometimes they can just do a really nice consolidation and pops up. So this is what I'm looking at. Stock has gapped up, so obviously I want to go long because now I have just the wind tail with me, the tailwind with me. But if it loses the VWAP and it stays like right now, it's just lost the VWAP, few minutes to the open. So that's my observation. If it really keeps losing the VWAP, then it won't be a long candidate for me anymore. Right now, what we are seeing here is this stage. Yeah, let me actually remove this one, the price marker, because that messes up the. Yeah. So now, what we see here right now is just the stock is kind of holding below the moving averages and VWAP. Let's see how it does. And again, for me, it's a good candidate. Again, the what if statements that you have to start, especially at the open when everything is volatile, you have to be ready. So if it stays above the VWAP, it could be a good long with the stop loss below the VWAP for the break of all-time high. And if it stays below the VWAP and it really shows a sign of weakness with these red candlesticks, you could go short. Stock is shortable. You could go short with a stop loss above the VWAP and just go down for the break of this level and even further down. So now we are just waiting and watching. So 2 minutes to the open. And stock is, as you see, this is a normal activity. So it's very important also to watch the price action in normal speed, because a lot of times this red line and this activity, this price action is very, very important for you as as a trader to get a feeling and understanding of how the stock is being traded. That's why these videos are very important to look at them for how do I say, understanding the price action. The most important line in my chart is this red line that goes up and down. It tells you how the stock is being traded. If this red line just keeps chopping up and down, that means the stock is choppy. Either the spread is bad. We do have the spread, and the spread is not that bad. 66.52, 66.59. That's the spread. Although you don't have level 2, but you can actually see the spread here from the level 1. So spread is not that bad. 5, 6, 7 cents for a stock that is $66 is not that bad. So I'm looking at it. It doesn't seem very choppy, but the most important part is where actually the market is opening, and in the first minute. So really didn't lose the VWAP yet. On a 5-minute chart, we also have this. So let's see, we have the lines. Yep, it's gonna open in less than a minute. So we do have everything is open. Again, the daily chart, you don't need to look the daily chart because this looks like you already see the result. So on this one, so 30 seconds to the open. So based on what I see right now in a 1 minute, really holding through the VWAP. And again, remember the stock, when you're looking at your gappers, watch this. Stock has gapped up extremely high, all-time high, good earning. They really beat the earnings. So these are information when you want to playbook this trade. See what it does. 10 seconds to the open. Again, my hands are on trigger. I already know how many shares I want to take. All of those risk management tool that you want to have. So it seems that the high of pre-market is somehow this 66.82 is a level. So understanding. Okay, so now the market is opening. The volume is crazy. 1 million share volume is just getting a lot of things. So the VWAP is at 66.60. Let's see what it does. I usually wait for the first minute. Oh, there you go. Now it's popping higher. Too bad. A lot of people might jump in if there is any signal on level 2, but I personally don't do that. I usually want to wait, to see the first candlestick how it does, because it can also be really volatile because there are huge orders are coming. Look at just the volume is crazy. And it's very important, again, as I mentioned, guys, you have to do it on the normal speed, because getting a feeling of moving average and the moves of the stock and price action is very, very important. So in this case, it looks like the stock is strong. So you punch through all of these moving averages on the 5-minute chart. On a 1-minute chart, look at this huge pop. Yeah, it seems that it is strong. So again, on a 5-minute chart, we do have some stuff. Again, everything seems to me that it's very strong. I don't see any sign of weakness right now. It just keeps making higher highs, just making new lows. All right, so now this looks like a potential long. So I mean, especially this drop is interesting. So I can go long now, especially in this. Let me pause that. I want to have this stuff in there too. So yeah, I want to have these orders. So be able to, again, so here's just, this pause is important. This pullback is interesting. And even if it pulls back to here, still is a potential to add more. Why? Because again, the sign, this candlestick is very, very strong, and it meets all of my criteria: heavy volume, high percentage, all-time high. So I could go long here. You could wait until the breakout happens. You can go long here, but again, that's 682 to 95. That's 20 cents. So this drop for me is an opportunity to go long. This pullback is even if it drops more here, I might buy it. But if it drops to here, then I'm not gonna buy probably, because that's just way too much drop, and this one actually could be a sign of an engulfing going to the short side. And again, now I just got into the here long, and if it drops a little bit more, I can go long again. So I just keep it a little bit more and more space to myself, so I don't go full position in there. So you can actually go long in there. So that's the type of opportunity that you can actually have to add to your position. But if it drops too much, as a rule of thumb, it drops more than half of your size of the candlestick, then you probably don't want to go back in there. Maybe it's just actually reversing. And my stop loss would be below this. So if it really drops to around here, so I want to get out, because that means maybe the stock is really not as strong enough. So I'll just press the resume. So again, just maybe add it a little bit more as it's dropping. But it's coming back up, and now it's going to the break of high of the day. There you go. So in that case, a lot of times you can actually add more, or if you have a really good move, you can actually start scaling out. Yeah. So again, the breakout is already happening. Again, depending on your trading strategy, this could be actually a place to start getting out. 66.82 to 67.23. This is a really good move. You actually broke out toward this. All-time high, and the high of pre-market is this level that we had. Again, you can start scaling out if you want from 66.82 to 67.24. This is a really good move. Or you can just again, if you have any level, you can start looking into that, and just amazing. This is just amazing. So the entry that I was really interested into was this, showing you this pullback. And again, it's just a really beautiful, clean 1-minute opening range breakup, but just a perfect entry, perfect pullback entry. You could go long here, and as you see, I added more, but again, your risk is a little bit higher in this case. That's all. They're always good. A lot of good traders, they say what you can do is you can actually add when the stock is moving toward your direction. Now you can go long here as move. You can just add more, and now your average is actually a little bit better. So now this is a moment that you want to wait. And again, really, we on a 5-minute candlestick, we still haven't closed the 5-minute candlestick. So you can actually wait for a 5-minute opening range breakup as well. So a lot of traders are still waiting. This drop, again, that's why I'm saying it's very important to watch the price action on a normal state. This drop, it just bought back up. It dropped, and again, people start buying it. So still, I see a strength here. Yeah, very difficult. Ask yourself, if you're a short seller, would you dare to short it now? If you don't, that means that the buyers are just getting stronger and stronger. So no bears are actually, have the potential to go short right now. It's just the stock is very strong, all-time high. And going back up, it seems that it wants to again break up. There you go. That's again, if you have level 2, sometimes the big signs in levels 2 can be actually a very important thing for you to understand. And again, now you're already getting a really nice risk to reward already. So again, if you put your risk here, so you're already at 2 to 1 to risk to reward. So it's not a crazy idea to just scaling out. I mean, again, from 66.82 to 67.50, that's almost $1. So it's not a crazy idea if you just slowly, scaling out of your position for profit. But at this stage, what I'm seeing is the stock is very strong. For me, again, this entry could be, again, depending on how many share size you're taking, but that could be essentially a good trade. But let's see how it does. I mean, in these situations, there's a lot of good moves are happening in a 5-minute opening range breakup. We're still not in the 5-minute candlestick closing yet. So let's see how this candlestick in closing. I see nothing except the really big strength. Even if it's small pullback to this moving average would be normal. I mean, nothing crazy. This 67.20, which was the high of pre-market, now is kind of holding as a potential support. As you see a small ABCD pattern here, and again, this is a small ABCD pattern. There was no big drop here, and every pullback is being bought back up. So it's not a crazy idea to stay in your position. And in this example, my stop loss is now at break even. So I'm not gonna go now that I scaled out a little bit. Yeah, I'm not gonna let this pass. And if this stock, such a strong move, comes down below the VWAP, I mean, there's likely that it goes even more down. So I just don't want to hold it through the past my break even point. So 10 seconds to the first candlestick. So again, a lot of traders are waiting for a 5-minute opening range breakup. I mean, it seems to me that still it's holding. I mean, no drop. The 67.20 ABCD pattern is very interesting. Again, depending on how much shares you have or what you want to do is now it's going to get into the 5-minute opening range breakup. Again, there you go. So that's the moment that actually the 5-minute opening range breakup traders are jumping in. So because the 5-minute candlestick is closes now, and again, huge move toward the up. And again, you as a trader, you can slowly scaling out on every of these big moves. And again, these hotkeys are designed in a way that you can actually cover 10% of your position, so you don't have to do anything. So 10% of the position automatically would calculate for you. And again, really how you scale out is really depending on how you actually want to manage your position. We don't have, the problem is we really don't have any level. The stock is making all-time high. So what you can do, what I would do usually, I usually put my orders in the round numbers. Now 68. If you hit the 68, sometimes you can just pop above 68, like that 67.95. If it pops above 68, you can get out, and then later 68.20, 68.50, and you can just, based on these round numbers, you can actually have. Sometimes if you have level 2 and you have a huge order you see on level 2, it's good to put your order above that. So because usually when the ask is high, you can actually expect that probably there's a lot of big ask right now on 68. As soon as you pop up above 68, you can start scaling out. I'm sure if there was level 2 already, you could see a lot of big asks on 68. And again, the stock is very strong, beautiful opening range breakup. I think it's gonna pop above 68.10, 10 cents. See, yes, there you go. Not a big pop. It's 68.10. You can just slowly scale out. Beautiful. Again, with a couple of hundred shares, you can make $500, and you don't need to make a huge position to make it a reasonable number. I mean, in this case, I think I took maybe $300, $400 shares, and just another move out. Beautiful. I mean, that's a perfect 1-minute opening range breakup. It's just like a textbook, and a beautiful 5-minute opening range breakup. Again, it hit all the criteria that I was looking for. A stock was gapping up, heavy volume, above the VWAP. In the pre-market showed the strength. The heavy volume in the white candlestick. It's just amazing. And again, you can just slowly scale out and see how it does. And that's the beauty of a replay, is because in this example, as you saw, and I'm going to show you the real trade that I took, I actually missed this entry. My entry was actually here on this pullback, because for Friday I had to, for some reason my DAS was not there was a lag or something in my computer, so I had to restart. So I missed this second this 2 minutes, but as soon as I saw this one, I actually jumped in and got an entry here. And again, it still was a really good trade, although it was I missed the better entry, but still it was a really, really good entry. Yeah, so that's the beauty of you know, a replay, and again, you can just think and analyze the price action. Now what I see here, this is a very, very strong stock, a very powerful stock. And there are two moving averages coming. The first one that is coming, that is always closer to the stock, is a 9 moving average. And the second one that is coming slowly is a 20 moving average. One thing that I want to discuss with you in this trade, and I actually did that trade live in the chat room for people, I actually added on a pullback. So look at the moving averages that we have. We have a 9 and 20 exponential, and we have 50 and 200 on a simple moving average. In this example, what I see is just this stock is going up. It's you know, just squeezing. People are really buying. Not a lot of people probably got stuck in their short, because the short squeeze, short float was that. It's just interest. They're fine, you know, hedge funds and institutions are just keep buying and buying. And again, it's always a good idea to scale out as the stock move up. It is a scale outs, used to be very expensive. So it used to be only, you know, $10 per ticket, $5 per ticket, especially at small share size traders. They had a lot of issues with that. But now everything is per share. So like 191, if I press sell 10%, probably 19 shares going to get sold. It just cost me less than 30 cents, you know, just because now the commission structure has really changed. And that's the beauty of these new commission structures that brokers are moving toward. So here's what we did. So what I say, it's really extended right now. And again, 5-minute chart, that's a really good move. And again, from 66 to 68, that's almost twice of average to range of the company. So again, if you remember, the ATR of the company was $1. And again, Intel is a high float stock. Billions of shares are available to trade. So if I bring the gap or watch this for you as an education. So, you know, again, this is... the average to reach is only $1. Why? Because the float is 4.3 billion shares. So it's not a low float stock like IIPR that, you know, the ATR is $3 because the float is 6 million shares only. So again, you know, $1, $2 move on something like Intel or Apple or Facebook, these large float stocks, is a really good thing. You know, again, it's, you know, your entry was 66.96 and now you have 68.49. I mean, this is a really good move. You should definitely start scaling out. It would be wrong if you don't scale out. And again, you know, small traders, small share size traders in the past was very difficult to scale out, because every time you want to pay $5-10, nothing would leave. And, you know, how much you want to make, that actually you have to pay so much for commission. But now with this new commission structure, it's either depending on what broker you're using, but most of them are now less than half a cent per share. So I mean, 100 shares is less than 50 cents. I mean, it's nothing. You know, it's just $1, $2, $3 commission is really, for this stock when you're making $500 is really negligible. So again, what we see here, a very strong stock, making all-time high, just keep going up. Again, there's no limit up there. So again, don't look into this one. This is this one is look like a past, but again, you're just going up. There is really no limit. The sky is the limit. The sky can go up. Now in these situations, what you can do is you can look at the moving averages. No stock would ever just keep going up like that. There is always a pullback. You know, this ABCD pattern, there's a pullback, there's a pullback. There's always a pullback can be expected to this 9 or 20 moving averages, especially on a 1 minute chart. Because on a 1 minute chart, you see more of these resolutions that you have. So I think on Friday, what I was thinking was I had a really good day. I had a really decent profit. And I was thinking of what should I do? Should I get out completely, or do you think there is potential to even go higher? So now I think I want to watch that. I mean, I see a very, very strong stock. So I just make it a little bit faster to go and see what we do. I saw that the stock is dropping to this moving average. I mean, one way of doing it is maybe you can think, okay, the stock is coming and losing and go back up. But I really doubted that the stock is actually dropping back. After such a big 10-minute move, I really, really doubted that the stock wants to go back to VWAP. And I was really thinking that maybe there is a potential that actually we can buy something. As if the pullback is happening, maybe we can actually buy. Maybe that's actually giving us an opportunity to buy or something like that. So again, I mean, what we see right now here is the stock is doing a small pullback toward the 9 moving average, and this 9 is a number that most of the traders are using. Again, there's one way of looking at it, that maybe this stock is done and you want to go back to VWAP, or maybe just this one is just a consolidation, either simple consolidation or more complicated consolidation. In this example, because the stock for 10 minutes is very strong, I really doubt that it's going to go back to the VWAP. I mean, this definitely is a consolidation for me in my idea. Even though we're just coming below the moving average, I mean, I would doubt that the stock drops to VWAP, because look at this 10-minute huge move. Again, nothing is 100% in the market, but again, based on my understanding, this could be just a pullback. Here's what we see here. Let's see if it actually loses this moving average or not, and if it goes toward the 20 moving average or not. This move was so fast that the 20 moving average was a little bit ahead, a little bit behind, but usually this 20 moving average comes and tests the 9 or 20, these two moving average. In this case, what I actually see that we haven't lost the moving average yet. Still struggling around it. We came close it, but it quickly came back up. A lot of times, a good rule of thumb is wait for the 20 moving average. See what the stock is actually doing in this 20 moving average. A lot of time 9 is 9 could be a little bit of shakeouts and whips around it, but again 20 would be much nicer to understand. So I want to see that. I want to see if it drops to 20 or not. And again, my stop loss is at break even. I'm in a really good situation. I have a really room. But here in this case, after this pop, I want to see what it does. I want to see if it actually pops above or not. If it closes above this moving average or not. If it closes above this moving average, it's just a sign for me that this was just a consolidation, and now it's actually a good place to add more into that. Again, I want to say now close it. Actually, I want to add a couple of shares, a little bit of shares more into that, because now we actually closed above this moving average. Now my stop loss, based on the new average that you have, 67.78. So my stop loss is now somehow comes near this the 20 moving average. And I honestly, I'm not really great in adding these ads. So as in the chat, I'm saying that I suck in these ads. But again, you don't have to put a lot of shares on that. Again, I actually went full size on that. My original share was 400, and now I'm 400 shares on that. But if you're not sure, you can add a little bit more on that. A little bit more on that. Ads on 20 moving average is a little bit better. In this case, we actually never got into the 20 moving average. As soon as we came down, we quickly came back up. And now it's just, it looks like it wants to go back to the all-time high. So now that I added more, my first target would be the test of all-time high. So that would be my my first target. So now that I added, I want to see if I can actually go and test the new all-time high. Or new high of the day. Again, even if it's not in a all-time high, again this high, I'm actually looking and see if I can get into that. Can just again, it's very important to actually watch it in the normal price action, but again, because I'm recording this video, I want to see if we can just have it a little bit faster. Again, my stop loss is now at the break even. I'm in the break even, not in the break even point. And again, for the break of high of the day, I want to just as soon as we're getting into the break of high of the day. Sometimes if you feel that you really went too much into the size, if you've overdone it, maybe you can actually reduce your share size. Thor sometimes does that. Now stock is moving toward all-time high. If there is any level signal on level 2, it's good, if you look into that and you can get based on understanding based on level 2. If there are huge asks here, I hold my position, I put orders above that. But this one looks like a very solid move. And again, we made a new 5-minute high. On this pullback, when there, new 5-minute high. Everything seems to me that a stock is going to break the again all-time high. So I'm actually starting getting out. You don't have to even wait for the stock is just to, there you go. Now broke. Definitely you should start scaling out on that. And again, it's really nice to watch it on the normal speed, but again, because I'm recording this video, it's very important to really have it a little bit faster, because I don't want the video to be 2 hours. So again, it popped up. We cracked the high of the day again. So that was the high of the day, but we did crack it. But what I noticed here, and I did remember mentioning it in the chat, that it's very weaky. This break and this break was very weaky. That's the observation that I had, that this is a little bit weaky, and I really don't like that a stock is so, broke the high of the, high of the day, but it just didn't, it really didn't, get a follow through. There was some rejection that you see. Again, the highs, every time that it break out in these 2 hours, it was a little bit weaky. It means that maybe it's done. And looking at it on a daily chart is really extended, and also on a 5-minute chart, still the moving averages are slowly coming. So here's the moment that I noticed that maybe it's done. Maybe I was thinking that, maybe it's done. Maybe you want to do a bigger pullback. Maybe this time wants to test the 9 or 20 moving averages. Still, we haven't touched the 20 moving average at all. That's another interesting part, that stock has been so strong that still we haven't touched any of 20 moving average. Again, every time that we're pulling back to the 9, we're just going back up. But 9 is not a very strong moving average. The important lesson here is 2 and 20 moving average. See what happens here. If it bounces back from here, that means the stock still has some strength. But if it loses this one, then there's a good chance that we actually go down to the VWAP. All right, so based on what I see here, it seems that, see what it does. Oh, there you go. It's popping back up. A lot of traders buying at 20 moving average. That's another thing. In this example, in this case, we never touched the 20 moving average on 1-minute chart. But in this case, as soon as it touched the 20, it popped back up. So again, a lot of algos or a lot of traders are looking for these more complicated pullbacks. Yeah, it just came back up, and again, that seems that still there is a strength here. So just it's good time. So again, even if you were buying something here, if you had some entry right at the 20 moving average, if you had some entry here with the risk of a little bit lower than that, that was a good scalp that you could do. Again, now that you can wait for break up high of the day, and again, you want to see if you can actually break that or not. Again, this number, shares, and unrealized really doesn't matter. It's just an example of a practice. But I'm just going a little bit faster, see what it does. 16 is too much, maybe 8. Let's see what it does. Again, as you see, it's a beautiful move back toward the 20 moving average. And again, 20 is more important than 9. When the stock is very, very strong, it bounces back from 29, but 20 is usually more important on 1-minute chart. Yeah, so it looks really toppy, and again, we mentioned that in the chat that this was toppy, this was toppy. It looks really toppy, so maybe it's time to really for this one to maybe it's time for it. Maybe he wants to do a reversal. Maybe he wants to go back and test these moving averages. At least maybe he wants to test on a 5-minute chart. This moving average is coming. Maybe he wants to at least test this one, or but it does look, based on the understanding the price action, it does look very toppy, especially in these 2 times that was very choppy. So again, you are in a really good situation with this trade. You have a really good entry. You already booked a very nice profit, so you can actually hold on that. If you are impatient, you can actually get out a little bit on that. Again, if you are really anxious and you just want to book the profit, you can get out as much as possible and just let the little bit just run. And the last piece can actually run. For me, $69 would be definitely something worth getting. I mean, the high of the day at this stage is 68.75. But for me, I could let this 100 shares run. I mean, depending really on what kind of a trader you are and what kind of risk management, position management you want to have. But again, really, you can actually let this 100 shares run for you for all day and see how it does. But at this stage, I mean, I kind of see a really toppy area. Again, as I see, this is a top, this is a top, this is a top. So I kind of doubt that the stock is gonna break. Again, on a 5-minute chart, we're getting more toppy. And some people are watching 15-minute chart. Let me see, you can actually have the 15-minute chart, the toolbar. Yeah, see what the 15-minute chart would do. Yeah, that's the 15-minute chart. You know, we have this 15-minute chart. Let me add the market open line. And again, we have this 15-minute chart. See what it does. It seems that it wants to lose this 20 moving average on a daily chart, on a 1-minute chart. See what it does. Again, here is very beautiful bounce from the 20. As again, you know, that's also one strategy that I know some people do. Whenever when they find a very strong stock, they just, every time that hits the 20, they buy and just popped up. So it looks like it's dropping. So it looks like it really lost this moving average, and see how it does. This is a 50 moving average. You know, 50 moving average, again, I'm still in a profit. So again, really my stop loss is now at the break-even point. Yeah, this, to me, it seems that it's all kind of lost it. So you might want to get out of it. Probably now that it lost this, probably wants to go down to the break-even. Again, now we lost all of these moving averages, and the stock is, you know, it really seems that it's really going down. All red candlesticks. There's no, again, the most important line is this red line. You know, it's just constantly going down. Nobody pops it up. You know, nobody pushing it up. It's just constantly. Now a little bit goes up, but most of the time it's just ticking down, ticking down, ticking down. Yeah, so now it's coming down. So as you see, it also comes into my break-even point. And what you can do is, in this situation, most of the time I'm just getting out at the break-even point. Again, because that's my strategy that is coming, really testing this. So my strategy would be to sell all. Just I'm out, completely out of it. But again, because my break-even point was around that point. But we can go a little bit faster and see what happens. You know, we can just now that we have time, we can actually take a look at it and see. So you know, again, it's just, you know, it's doing some consolidation at the VWAP. And again, this is a very, very fast move. We can maybe a little bit faster. Does a really nice consolidation at the VWAP, and it's hard. You really don't know what's going to happen. You know, this is the moment that you can actually trade options on that, and that's a course that we're going to add. But in this case, it seems that the stock is popping back up. Yeah, there's a really nice consolidation in the VWAP, and who knows, maybe, you know, again, we can, you know, 69 was the target that I was thinking of. Maybe we can get to the 69. Again, 69 is a round number. The all-time high, there is really no level. You know, we were thinking of maybe we can get to 69 or 60, you know, 950 or something like that. But again, you can just watch it. It seems that the stock is backing up. Did a really nice pullback on the moving average, and again, you know, it's, oh, there you go, popped up. Actually, maybe can make it a little bit slower. So it did pop back up to 9 moving average, and there you go, cracked it again. Went crack of high, all-time high 69.20, and I'm not in there. And yeah, so that is the kind of you know, understanding this price action. So again, see, this trading, there's so much analysis that you have to do, and reading the price action and learning that. And if you want to see, this is a trade that I did. I'm actually posting that Twitter. That's a trade that I did. So where is the epic pen? Yeah, the epic pen is here. So again, that was my entry. As I mentioned, that I missed this big move. I missed this entry, so my entry was here because I had to restart this. Just a huge move up, and this pullback, I waited. As soon as I saw that it's not losing this moving average, I went back in there and long and, you know, break even, and I just got out here. And as soon as we lost this moving average, I got out on these positions. And that's a trade that I actually posted on Twitter on Friday. So where was it? This one is, yeah, so that's the one. And sometimes sometimes when I get a moment, yeah, there you go. That's January 24th. That's the trade that I took. And again, you can just observe it. Seems that it's kind of really, you know, I wouldn't bet on another all-time high. Again, it seems that, yeah, it seems that stock is, although it's very strong, but again, we're getting into the time of the day. It's always noon, so it's very choppy. And I think a couple of traders in the chat room, Thor, also took the trade. But a lot of times these pullbacks actually give you a good opportunity for doing options, and we're gonna have the chat on that. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much, guys, for watching this long video, and hopefully it would be it would be useful. If you really like this video, like, subscribe, share it, so more people can see that. It would be very, very nice for us to see feedback from that. So yeah, if you really like, comment or like it for us, we really appreciate if you like to see more of these videos. Thanks a lot, guys, and have a good day.